You still with me? I'm still talking to you. Basically, active on the way. You never tried it before. Wow. So agate works really good. Pretty cool. Just smell that. Hear me okay?
Okay, let's see if that works. Testing. Yeah. Okay, what did I do wrong here? I'm gonna have to apologize for the mic. I'm gonna wind up having to get another one to make this thing work right. That's strange. So it did really well here, and uh, this one here, I don't know. It messed up. I guess maybe it might be uh, the grain of the rock or something, or the crystal or whatever. 'Cause I used the exact same power, didn't move anything. Oh, what's next? Uh, Really need to run some test rigs. I went to Home Depot and got a bunch of 8x10 glass window panes. I think I paid $4 a piece for them. No reason to. All right. Do, 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 do. So we are going to run a test grid. There's your tools, material tests, and edit material setting. And take this up to 1,000. Take this over to 40. Actually, Matt says that if you take it over to 50 and he runs his at 200, he's actually running his way up into the 1500s on the lines. We're going to give it a try. Okay. I want to do frequency and take it down to 50. Frank. Oh. All right, guys, you're gonna have to pardon me. I'm a smoker, and that's the way it is. So this thing is really weird. Or I say it's weird. It's just completely a new experience for me. Starting out at like 1 in the queue and then working away up from there. It seems like in the 1 is where it's most powerful or marks the best on glass anyway. And this is the first time that I've ever had to deal with the laser being able to actually go into the material and, like in glass, etch there on the inside of glass or even on the back side of glass if you don't have it right. And so doing stuff like wine glasses, that's a completely, I'm still having trouble with that because like I said, if you go too deep into the etch, then I mean it's smooth, it looks good, but I'm wanting to do gilding and I have to have an etch for the gilding to actually stick. And so I guess I'm going to have to use a rotary. And smaller monograms. Do you have a UV Vince? Well, it's definitely a new learning experience. I mean, it's not outrageous. Um, I put this thing together, got it all together about 1:30 this morning, finished it up, and messed with it a little bit this morning and was actually able to get some real nice wine glasses out of it. And, already starting to figure out a little bit of it, but to master this thing is definitely going to take some time. I'm already messing my deck up. Oh, well, it's a work table. I guess that's what it's made for. Boy, you jump that up to 1,000 lines per minute, and it does take a while to do it. So, what did you start out with, Vince? Did you start out with a diode? So, the 2028, is that red and black one? Yeah. So, have you ever tried to do leather on that 80 watt? I've got two 50 watts, and so it really does leather real well and cuts okay. But I'm wondering about, going up to the higher wattage. My understanding is that when you start talking about the larger tubes, it's hard to get them down to a power that will engrave on leather and not char it. I can run my 40 watt down to about 18% and make a good mark without char, and then a decent cut on anything from 5 to 10 ounce leather, and it makes some pretty good hat patches and stuff with it. So my focus was completely off. I actually went the backside instead of the front. It's interesting. Hey, Matt.
Hey, give me a minute to fix my settings here.
All right.
Let's see. Audio. Put you on this guy. That guy. There you go. What you working on, bud?
Just playing with the focus and trying to find the best thing. Just playing with these sheets. I went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of cheap glass to play with.
Yeah, man. Cheap stuff.
Well, 8 by 10, it costs $4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That's the kind of stuff you work on instead of putting a $20 glass in there.
Well,
have some kind of crystal stimulus that blows up on you.
Yeah, well, see, that's what happened to this one here.
Ooh, yeah.
I tried to do the that rub and buff I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that it wasn't engraving fully on the outside. And
right.
That rub and buff has to have that edge on the outside.
Oh, yeah. That's what we were talking about earlier. Now, one thing I found too that's good is if you got like these little, where are they? Oh, come on now. I took the glass off the bed frame itself. Is that what you're doing too? Or do you got it rested on the bed frame?
No, I already messed my bed frame up.
Yeah. Well, if you got, where are they? God dang. Well, you know what I'm talking about. The squares and the little,
yeah.
I don't even know what they're called. The hardware that you tie everything down with. Take a couple of those and just rest them. Yeah, something like that. There you go. Because when you, I've noticed that when they hit the metal, when you've got something on top of it, you almost get like a kickback from like the reflection underneath. So it's almost like a double engrave or something.
Yeah, it's almost like doing the stainless putting stainless behind it with a fiber.
Yeah. And then what I do is I take a little piece of paper, literally just like any old thing, right? And I just slide under for when I'm trying to square up where I'm at. I know Alicia Pate does the highlighter. She just, if you ever want to mess with that method, but then I just put my little piece of paper right there, and then use the up and down arrows, left, right, up and down to kind of maneuver it to where I need it to be at, and give it a zap.
Well, something that might work. I just thought about that. I've bought these ceramic tiles thinking I'd try to engrave them and see what it does. And it does okay, except for the fact it doesn't leave no color.
Right.
It'll be something to put on the deck that you can use because it's white.
Yeah.
I'm going to show the laser up.
The reason I like the piece of paper too is like it just kind of like when you go to put it, like let's say you got a cup over it, like on the rotary, like you can see my rotary set up. There it is back here.
Yeah.
What I do is I'll just let this sit right on top of the cup and it'll go bloop and sit right where it is, and you kind of know right about where it's gonna go.
That's smart.
Just whatever, right? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Needless to say, I need to cut me a new stick, but I got done with this thing about 1 a.m. And
Heck yeah, man. Oh, you got the cool glasses from Pascal too?
Yeah.
He sent the slick ones. I got these little guys. I like them. Only thing is, I got these new glasses and they don't go over my new glasses right. So I got to put them on just like this. You know, we look like bros.
So when I was, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I used to do some lamp working and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear glasses also. But I had bought, you got a lot of, I can't remember the radiation that comes off hot glass, but it can hurt your eyes like a laser can.
Oh, I know. One time is all it took me, and I got zapped good, and I was like, "Oh, that felt really weird." Like I felt it back in my brain, and I was like, "Nope, never again." So I put those suckers on, dude.
Yeah, but you could get the prescriptions fitted inside of the lens.
Okay.
So you have your protective, and then you have your prescription behind it. I mean, they weren't cheap, but you're not having to take your glasses on and off all the time if you can't see.
Well, now the other thing too is I bought some of those free mascot. I just cleaned up, so that's why I don't know where anything is. Usually I like live in chaos and I can just turn around and grab it. But these free mascots, they do 190 to 450 OD8 plus. So these little guys, little $35, $40 ones from the store or from the Amazon.
Yeah.
And they go right over it. So that's what I've been using lately. And then I use that as like my secondary pair. Like if my wife is out here trying to talk to me about something and I kind of need like a, oh crap, put these on because I got to go.
So on the frequency, what does your JPT run at?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me look and see real quick.
Because the paper on mine shows from 20 to 100. But
for when we're doing glass, you talking about, or do you just mean what's the scope?
The scope.
Yeah, about what you said. Like, I mean, hold on a second. I don't have my paper handy, so I can't tell you exactly. But you said, what did you say, 25 to what?
I think it's 20 to 100 with the 50 being at the
peak
power curve.
Yeah. So most of the time I've been using mine at 40 to 50.
Yeah.
So like if I'm trying to give a little light touch, maybe 40, 45, so because if you hit it at 50, like you'll notice the glass, there's like, it burns different colors too, is the best way I can explain it. There's one where it looks like a welder's torch hitting it, like a acetylene torch,
Right.
And then there's another one where it looks like you're doing like a MIG welding or something. Like that's the best way I can explain it. And when you do that, like acetylene torch style, when I think that's when I was telling you like 40 or 45 or something like that, it's almost like it's sandblasting it. And then when you hit it with the 50, sometimes it's just like that's when I cut with it the other day. I mean, it took this glass right here, just like you were doing, right? And there was a circle that I cut like a perfect circle out of. You can't really see it, but it was right here, and it just shattered the glass because it's so. But not like instantly. I turned it down. I was like, whoa, pause, and kind of adjusted. But then all I did was take the glass out. Like I was able to literally just kind of wobble it and pop the glass out. And it was like barely in there. So, but yeah, so it zapped the crap out of it.
I never expected until I saw Alex's video on doing glass and stuff when he cut a hole in that piece of glass. That I did not expect.
It cut right through it, man. Like when he did it, like I think I've got the glass cutting settings. I added that to the UV community settings on the channel. Yeah. So, and that's again, it's like a starting setting because who knows, things might be a little different on every machine. That's kind of the main reason they haven't posted the UV settings. Is me and Kyle will have different ones by enough to where like anybody who looked at it and doesn't know what they're doing would be like, well, this didn't work.
Right.
But you know how like kind of like when you're doing fiber, you can look at it and you'd be like, oh, my line distance is crappy here. I got to fix that. Like you kind of start to see what you got to fix. If you didn't know any better, it would kind of surprise you probably.
Well, and it did me, whenever I saw your set, when you sent me a a copy of your settings, or as far as
Yeah, for
extreme
that frosted glass. Yeah.
I was running at like 350, 400, and you have yours set all the way up into like 1400 in your DPI or
Yeah.
LPI.
Yeah.
And
But that's
that,
what gives it that. That's what gives it that like sanded, nice. I don't know. It's like it's almost like smooth. Like when you go to wipe it clean, it's
yeah.
really, really smooth. And I got a box of glasses I'm shipping right now. I should have sent it out today, but oh well. Sick kid. Woke up, I had one sick yesterday, and then I went to bed and had two sick this morning.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then now you hear me coughing and you see me trying not to cough into the microphone. So and it's like the first week of school and they're already bringing home crud, man. Come on now. Stupid. I told my wife, this is just stupid. All right. Yeah, let's zap it. Let's do some damage.
Well, that definitely made a difference. I can hear it.
What do you use, or what did lifting it up a little bit? You mean?
Well, I lifted it up, but I also changed. I wanted to check the Q pulse on for the material test, and so I've got it between 1 and 20 on the Q pulse, and then running the speed.
Oh yeah, you'll hear it, man. It'll sound like that.
Yeah,
like it almost sounds like it's just sand in the surface, and then you'll hear it go like almost like a little, whisper, like somebody's whispering.
Well, I thought I broke the machine yesterday because
why would you?
I didn't know about the Q pulse. I didn't know where.
Oh yeah.
And so it was set up. I don't know why, but whenever
did it have it set to like 200 or something?
Yeah, it was like 100 or something.
Whatever they did when they did you do you downloaded the newest 1.4.1 or something like that?
Yeah.
That made it where like when you open up UV, I swear to God, mine says 200, and I'm like, no. So it's almost like they put that like the Q pulse, So I don't know, but yeah, that made you think you broke it. Oh man, I bet you crapped your pants a little bit.
I think that's burning a little too hot.
Goodness gracious.
It's almost cutting the glass.
Told you, man. It's crazy what messing with those settings and testing materials like that. Material test grid is always so helpful.
Okay, so yeah, I've got the lines per inch set where we was talking. I got it set at 1,000, but I do have the frequency set. Oh, it's set at 20. Wow, that's why. I better stop that.
Yeah, pop that puppy up.
I don't know why it went to 20. Oh, I do too. Okay, so 200. Otherwise, it's going to break that glass.
Oh, you'll hear it too. You'll hear like a little ka-tink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just go, oh God. And you're going to want it. Don't turn around and look at it.
Lamp working. When we were doing the lamp working, that was the worst sound you could ever hear. You get that piece done, and everything, and you're about ready to put it in the kiln and all of a sudden you hear king, and you're going, oh man.
Yeah. No thanks. All right. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a lot better. I could tell I'm going to have a lot of fun with this thing because I like to tinker. I like to think through things.
The other one too is leather. Man, this thing is beautiful. It almost looks like an embossed leather when you play with it. Yeah. And what stinks is I had great settings on 1.3. They came out where, excuse me, they had it where you could do the power percentage, But what happened is that was like the experimental beta for UV. And if you use that as a controller, it only sent about 50%. So you literally lost 50% of the power of your laser. So the settings you were sending, I don't know why or what, like I got no clue. But instead of using Q pulse, they were using power ratings because they were just trying to make it kind of like the same, similar across all the spectrums, power, frequency,
Right.
and speed. And excuse me. Long story short, I'd found the perfect settings for glass, found the perfect settings for like a deep, like I had like, look at this. Ugh. Like I did this wood. You see that?
Wow.
You can stick your finger down in here. I mean, it like goes in like more than a nail, and that's from the UV. And that was at 50% power. So wood, it's slow, but man, it looks. I mean, look at that. There ain't no way or angle that doesn't look nice.
No, I mean,
You know
that looks great.
Yeah. So I was like shocked when I saw that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Now it took forever though. UV is going to be better, or not UV. CO2 is going to be the best one, really.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not in a hurry or you're getting paid enough for this, it's a damn good look.
And a lot of the stuff that I look at too is like if I'm going to a show, there's a lot of just singles, one-offs, and the 10 or 15 minutes it takes to do something like that, it's not that big of a deal.
Right. And if you're getting paid well enough, and when it's on the spot engraving, people are willing to pay a little more, like a premium.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not trying to rake them across the coals or nothing, but people want it. Like it's rare you can go somewhere and get something done that day. So people are willing to spend $10-15 more. And with the UV having a limited source like that, the power supply being like 10,000 hours, the fiber's 100,000, UV's around 10,000. So you got to get that bang for the buck.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. You're not hurting, you're getting the machine cost that much because it does that much.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Will, how you doing?
Good,
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just getting home.
Matt, I don't know if you know Mike. He is the one that I actually got the 2 big lasers from over in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember you telling me about them. Yeah.
And so he's got my fiber machine.
Oh, nice. Man, you're like wheeling and dealing over here.
Man, it's why you got to do it. And my wife has some pretty strict limits. She says, okay, if you're going to do this, you need to do, So, yeah. So have you tried agate on your UV yet?
No, but I've seen the no, but I have seen some really cool stuff made. You got something there?
Yeah.
Right, let me see. What? Get out of here. Can you make that big? You know how to make it big?
So we can do it over here.
Ooh, look at that, man. What's the detail like on it?
Man, it is incredible. And
stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like somebody took white paint and put on there.
You know what? That's the kind of stuff I remember as a kid going up to North Carolina and all the South Carolina, like driving up into the mountains and going to those stores where those people had that kind of stuff. And I was like chomping at the bit to try to get some of that stuff. So that'd be cool to put into a store, to put on there like the name of the town and something like that. That'd be pretty cool. You could sell that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and I think I bought a bag of these off of Amazon, and I think there was like 20 of them in a bag, and I think I paid $20.
What?
So $1 a piece. And these black ones look really cool. So
that's on Amazon.
I believe that's where I bought it from.
I have a gun. I'm gonna look right there. Yeah. We're type in bag of agates. Bag o' agate. Hey, look, it worked. Poor Mike, he came on here. He's like, these two are crazy.
Oh, he knows I'm crazy. He's just about as crazy as I am.
Oh, there you go. Must be this crazy to ride, right?
Yeah.
I live in the New Orleans area, so I'm pretty much used to everybody being crazy.
Yeah, I'm in a little farm town in Florida, so about 70-30.
Yeah, I heard of Florida, man. So
Yeah. He makes his way over to Alabama and Louisiana sometimes, I reckon.
yeah, on his way to Texas.
Oh my God, let's see. Yeah, look at all these rocks they got on here. God dang.
I
That's the
haven't
kind of
tried
stuff.
again. So on the CO2, the colored pieces, they'll engrave just a little bit different, but they still do a really nice white. Now I did notice on this, weirdly enough,
Like flaking.
well, no, when I flipped it over, I engraved on it. It took and went through part of the grain that was black, and then part of it that was clear or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can see it's almost like it just didn't engrave on the spot.
Yeah.
Right here. So I don't know.
See, I think that's refraction is the best thing I can come up with, because on glass sometimes I've noticed reflection and refraction, right?
Right.
So where's my thing I was working on? Hold on, because I'm gonna pull these things out. I got a guy who wants me to do a whole crap ton of these snifters, and if you look at it real close, there's one that'll be perfect, right? And then the next one, nothing changed, and it's just the glass. And I think it's those little minimal, like divots in depth of field that make it look.
That's simply lemonade with cherry.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't see like at the tippy top right there.
Right.
So like it looks great, and then I'll sit there and find it just right, and I'm like, okay, like see this one right here? This one was really good, and then just that tippy top right there, like bloop. So that depth of field gets lost. But then what you notice too is like one glass will be fine, because I mean look at this one, like this one just like no problem, you can see real easy. So it just, I don't get it, like it's weird. And it's to me, I think it's just the glass has refractory points in it, just because the way light passes through it and stuff, and it won't burn the right way.
So what lens are you using on your 5-watt for glass?
I got a 110. That's all, because to me 4 inches is more than, like, I'm not doing anything bigger.
Okay.
So I mean,
it's not like a fiber where a larger lens allows you a deeper.
You've got a larger depth of field, but you lose power, just like because you're having to throw it further.
Okay.
You do lose power too. So that's where you're gonna have to play it. Like I haven't even put my 200 in, because everything I've done has been like great on the 100. So to me, I haven't had a reason yet, you know what I'm saying, to toss in the two, because everything that I get is about yay big, and usually it's just on the rotary. So like if you notice, I got the rotary that I leave sitting up there, because it's almost basically just like a glass machine at this point, because that's how it's making its money with me. So it's okay with me.
Well, see, I've got my rotary is got a deck on it with a tailstop.
Nice.
And so I have to figure out a way of maneuvering everything, because it's a long. It's made to.
Yeah, you've got the one that has the pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's made to fit these, these big wine glasses and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty long to fit on that deck. And
yeah, but it's a good machine for what it does, though.
Yeah,
like, it's a good device.
Well, and it's a lot faster. I don't have to worry about it breaking my glass.
Nope. Did you get the one with like the silicone nose on it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that one sitting over here, and I was gonna use it, but then I ended up going over to Jason Rifes over there at the Rotoboss.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh yeah, well I'm trying to get rid of these," and he's got the sale up on his site still. They were $800, and I was like, "God dang, $800! Is that going to be worth it to have?" But when I saw how small it was, because he had said, "Yeah, you might want to take one home with you." When I did that interview, like 3 or 4, I don't even know, 4 months ago maybe. And long story short, when I got there and saw how tiny it was, and he put it on his bed frame, or the bed for the UV, I was like, man, that's just a no-brainer. All right, what you got?
That did not work out worth a flip. It didn't mark any of them. That's weird. So I set my cue pulse. What did I do with here that didn't do that? I mean, it marked the letters 200, pulse width, frequency 50. That's weird.
Let's see.
Because, I mean, it didn't mark anything. Just
Let me see what I got here. Library.
you know what? I am going to just for the.
Yeah, I got speed 200, frequency 40, Q pulse 1, fill mode, bidirectional, 0.02 line interval. So we put together. Let me see what this does.
I know that Alex was having a lot of trouble figuring out, a little video he did, he was having trouble.
What we're getting there.
Okay. I don't know what I did wrong. Mike, you been busy today, or you go ahead and get your shop cleaned up?
Somewhat. Yeah, not 100% because that's. I guess that's never going to happen. You know.
Well,
But
there's,
I
a
got
reason why, there's a reason why this camera is panned in like this, because I don't want anybody to see the mess I've got behind me.
Yeah, I know the feeling. No, I ended up. I had a couple of plastic jobs that were decent size, and I started running them, and I cleaned up what I could. You know, we had a machine that was an old Linotronics, and I wanted to see what was in it before I threw it out, and I pulled a hard drive out of it, and this thing pretty big. It was only a 250 meg drive, but it was huge. I'm gonna send you a picture of it one day.
It's a miracle. You think about it. When I was 18, 19 years old, the 486s and stuff like that, and a 500 megabyte drive was huge. And, it was a big deal to have one of those. And then, of course, we used to play games on them, of course, instead of actually using them what they should be used for. But like Wing Commander and stuff like that, you had like 20 disk drives that you had to load up.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, Yeah, this thing, it was, I guess it's what they call a RIP, raster image processor. And I was just looking at it before I threw it away, and it had when I saw the thing, I was like, it looked like a hard drive, but it was way too big. It was a 5 1/4 from like 1987, Fujitsu, something like that. But I got a couple of weird old hard drives that when I pull something out of a piece of equipment, sometimes I'll save it just because it's so weird. Every once in a while, I'll go look at them and show somebody.
Oh, I don't think anybody today would know what to even think about something like one of those.
Yeah, matter of fact,
I don't think there are many kids that knows what a payphone is anymore.
Yeah. We had one in the school I used to teach at. We had one sitting in the office as like when they did construction, they took it out.
Yeah,
and they stuck it in the front office, and the kids would be like, "What is that?"
Yeah, I remember. Well, like in cleaning up our shop, I'll find I had 3.5 floppies. We had 5 1/4.
Yeah,
I had some iOmega 100 meg zip drives, things like that, And I'd take them and show them to my kids and be like, "Hey, this is what we used to do." Matter of fact, that drive, I took a picture of it and sent it to my uncle, and told him, yeah, it's a Fujitsu and it's got the 250 megabyte capacity, and I'm sending this to you on the phone while I'm taking pictures and listening to YouTube videos through Bluetooth Bose headphones. Years ago, machines couldn't even do any of that, and I'm doing that all from a phone.
Yeah, wow. The kids don't understand that kind of stuff. Like I used to have to, if you were going out for a night on the town, you would sit there and literally take a camera, take a cell phone, take your pager, or if you had a Nextel camera, like a Nextel phone, that'd be cool. Like, see, yeah, I got those settings right there, the same ones I sent you. Willie, you see them going? So it's just zapping that thing. I don't know if you can see it real good because I don't have the camera set up perfect. But
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to use these squares and stuff to change screens around. So what do I select? And
next, on mine you'll see like there's a little square. If you click on it, like on the top of it, there's like a little square that like singles mine out. There you go. So I just add a QR code was the last project I did for somebody on a business card. So I just figured I'd put it on a glass because whatever.
That is something that's pretty neat about Lightburn too, is the being able to generate a QR code. And I don't think it's used as much as people, could.
You know what? I've done it for people because I've got there's people who have, what do you call it? The systems when you're working at like power plants and stuff, like tags.
Yeah.
Basically it just generates what it is and where it's at in the warehouse kind of a thing. So if they have a website where they individually, and that's one of those things where you can actually have these pre-made and just hit the next button and it cycles through. I made a guy about 50 tags for the warehouse. So if someone didn't know where something went, they'd scan it and it would say like Bay 7, aisle 13.
Oh, okay.
Or aisle 7, Bay 12 or something like that for a power plant that was down the road here. And the guy was like, "Oh, these are great." And I just did them on a plastic with the CO2. And it was awesome, man, because all he had to do is just tag everything with that flexible acrylic.
Well, and if you try to do a QR code generator on a lot of the websites, they make you basically pass through their website.
Yeah, so exactly.
They're tracking, it's a way for them to track stuff.
Yeah. And it's nice to just have it in one shot. Boom. Right in the program. So this did 251 segments. The way I did this on the, how long is this? It's about to be done here. I'm on 243 of 251. So it's pretty quick. Might not be beautiful, perfect. I kind of focused it on the fly so we could go here. But that's it. Done. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, there you go. Whoop. Ta-da!
Wow.
It's kind of hard to see white, but yeah, you see it. We'll see if it works. I think I was down focused too much. Need to come up just a little bit. Let's see if it works if I scan it. Popped up. Nice.
That's pretty neat. I did a little bit of plastic yesterday. That black, I like the way the black comes out. It's almost like a silver. Like
No,
on the
I got the.
black,
Yeah, yeah, it's slick, man. So you've got way more material there to play with than I do. All right, let me go back. I mean, well, I
I
guess
got all kinds of junk.
look, this is the guy's website. He's a Air Force non-commissioned senior officer guy.
Mike, you still with us?
Yeah, I just turned my camera off.
Oh well, no, I've seen another. I guess maybe it tried to invite you twice. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what I'm doing with this, so
Trust me. Welcome to the group.
Yeah, you're in the right spot, dude.
well, it's a little funny because when you were talking about the QR code to tell them what aisle and bay it was on,
Yeah,
I'm thinking to myself, just put aisle and bay with the numbers next to it, and nobody has to scan anything.
yeah. This guy, they just had a system that was already in place, and he wanted it to fit. And I mean, I made like $8 a little zap.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, who am I? I'm not gonna. Actually, sir, if you could just listen for a second about your car insurance, I was just like, you want 50 of those? You want $400
No
worth of
problem.
work? And you got it,
Well,
buddy.
when I was with Harbor Freight, we had something real similar to that. We had a barbecue, the barcodes. So
Yep.
whenever we ran something like that, it didn't just show your location, but it showed the alternates along, because there could be 2 or 3 different locations for it.
Yep.
But it also, gave you the amount of stock that you had and all of that.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot more information in
Now-
that little barcode.
I bet you $50 all that was a part of it too, but he didn't tell me all that because he didn't have to. I just said, "What is this for?" And he said, "Oh, it's from my warehouse over here at the plant." I said, "Oh, okay." So yeah, Willie's probably right. There's probably some kind of a system that they pay for that when you zap it, it keeps track of all kinds of doodads.
Yeah, and when they decide to automate it, it's good to go.
Yep. So, I mean, hey, like I said, $400 was in my pocket, and I was just excited to get in with a power plant because they need stuff all the time. So that's how I got that plastic job I made a video about not too long ago. Was I did something for the guy at the plant, and then out of nowhere, some guy from their solar branch called me and said, "Hey, I need some inverter signs made. Do you do plastic signs?" And I was like, "Yep." So it's easy money.
So
Yeah.
Mike, how long have you been in engraving business, Mike?
Best as I can tell, it's fixing to be 50 years.
So he's
you've done
been
a couple
around the
things.
block a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was 10, my dad figured out how he could chain me to a pantograph.
There you go.
So
I got to, when I went over to his shop and started looking at everything, and he had this wall with I think probably about 10 years of Coral Draw, different versions, all the way
Nice.
down to the 3.1 and stuff.
Yeah.
And, bunch of old machinery that really just, it's like they did it this way then.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cool though. I mean, like to see it come along like it has.
yeah, 'cause when we started, they didn't have any kind of computers that we knew of. And
Right.
our first computer was a TRS-80. with a Dahlgren system, and we would do jobs, and it had to save it to cassette disc.
Yeah.
And
That's wild, man.
I think back then the Dahlgren had a sponsor on cartridges,
Right.
even though a computer.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And now you can get a terabyte in a thumb drive.
Yeah.
Like I literally was just looking at one of those. It was a terabyte thumb drive for like $50, and I was like, $50. Like what the heck, man? Terabyte on a keychain blows my mind.
Well, and anymore, these laptops. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
some of the desktops a different story, but these laptops, they'll have close to a terabyte, and they have solid state, so you don't have to worry about
Demagnetization and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they had that when I was driving a truck. I don't know how many laptops I went through.
You know what? I remember being a teenager, and I just got out of high school, and my dad worked at that power plant that I was talking about. He was one of the administrators, and they said, "Hey, he said, I got you a job sweeping streets." And so I was like, "All right." And so I made $10 an hour, which is big money back then, and just to go sweep the coal road, because there was basically a power plant that has a coal road. And all I did was I got a wheelbarrow, a shovel, and a broom, and I'd be sweeping up the coal dust as the trucks would fall or go by, and that was my job. And
Wow.
yeah, well, and when I got out there, it was an easy job. He just said, you need to make some money. If you're going to go to school, you need to get ready to have some money. So he said, this place lets you work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was like, oh, okay, because I've always worked 50 or 60, 70 hours a week, And anyways, long story short, got out there and did all that, and got to learn about all the heavy machinery, got to learn about all the different things. But when I got to run a front end loader my second summer out there, so they said, hey, you ever run any equipment? And I was like, a backhoe and a farm equipment on my friend's farm, and they let me. But what was funny is that was when the Apple phone came out. That second summer I worked there was when the iPhone came out, and I had music on my phone, and they were just blown away because I could be riding around. I was riding in a 950G, Caterpillar 950G, which is a big old front end loader, and I'd just be rocking and boom, boom, boom. And I'm just singing away, and they're like, how's that music not skipping all over the place? And I was like, it's on here. And they were just like, it blew their mind, and they had never seen it. And I hadn't seen it either. It's brand new technology. It was 2002, I think it was, or 2003. No. Yeah, 2003. And but that's what I used my money for when I went to college. I spent $800 on the first iPhone, and actually I got it right here. Look. Look at this thing.
No way. Wow.
I still got it. And I still got the iPhone. I think this was the second one. I did that one on the laser. But this little guy right here is the old iPhone one. Look at that chunky sucker.
Man.
This thing was my ride or die for forever. I take care of my stuff.
Well, you talk about chunky.
Yeah.
When I graduated high school, we had our phones, or the cell phone was about this big, by about this big.
Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, it actually hooked to your truck. So when somebody called you, the horn would go off. You want to make your neighbors piss off? Yeah, that's a good way to piss them off.
I'll tell you, my granddad, he had the phone in the Lincoln Continental. He had a phone, and it looked like this big. Where's my camera? There it is. It looked like this big, and then the phone sat in it just like it was a house phone sitting on the wall in the 90s. And you'd pick it up and hello.
Yeah.
And you were hot.
We'd call them a brick phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that thing, man, I bet you $50 somewhere it's still calling people. The way they built stuff. Because when he passed away, my dad sold that car, and I was like, but the car phone. That was a big thing.
All my uncles worked in the oil field. And so, that they had those for, they'd call them up and want them to gauge something or something like that. And that was really my first introduction into the cell phone. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I rode with Dad in the truck, they didn't have, it was all, you either had phones at the table where you went and
Mhm.
sit down and ate and you used a credit card to call,
Yeah,
or
I remember those.
either that or it was literally where you used a payphone.
Yeah, you talking about like where they could bring the phone over to you and you'd swipe and they do the chunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sitting at there was a fancy restaurant that my grandparents took us to, and he was like, "I gotta call your uncle," and he was like, "Yeah, we were super poor growing up, so I didn't have all that kind of stuff." So our grandpa, he was a painter, like industrial painter, and
Right.
like hospitals and whatever facilities Florida has, whatever our county had, he was like the big contract painter, and so he finally made it big when he was in his mid 50s, I guess. He finally hit like $1 million. Like he'd done that for 30 years. My dad worked for him, my uncle worked for him, everybody worked for him. And so he was hot stuff. He had all the cool doodads, man. And so when he'd be like snapped at the lady, I was like,
Well, in the truck stops, every one of the tables in the truck stop had a phone.
yeah.
And all you did is, you either had a phone card or
Yeah.
you used your credit card.
Oh yeah, like the calling cards. I remember those
Yeah.
too, man. Isn't that funny how our brain remembers all that stuff?
So whenever you get your house phone, they'd give you a calling card that you can that's attached to your house phone.
Yep. I remember all that when I would go to summer camp for the scouts.
So the lens I've got on here right now is the 210.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yep. So I mean,
well, no wonder my settings aren't working for you then.
Well, I mean, actually, they're really close.
Oh, that's good to
know. But
I bet you if you amped up the power, so everything else should stay the same, but maybe amp up the power, maybe.
Well, mine's the same way as yours. You can't amp up the power.
Yeah.
It's at 80%. It's locked at 80%.
So maybe frequency 50. What do you got the frequency at?
I'm running that job right now. I don't want to. I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. No, don't touch nothing, because you're exactly right. You touch something and it goes. That's one thing. So if anybody who's watching ever is looking at UV, never touch anything, because like literally, like with fiber, you could stop it, you can play with it. CO2, you can get the next thing ready, and you can do all this. With the UV, it's like, or at least with the rotary on the UV, like that's the thing. Like when you queue up the rotary on the UV, don't ever touch nothing. Like I hit stop, or not stop. I just clicked the X and it stopped mid cup, and I was like,
"Oh no!"
I mean, luckily it was one of mine where it was like I had 50 of them sitting there anyways, but still, you're just like, God, come on. I think I had like 3 left, so I had to walk my happy butt all the way around and get another one, come all the way back. Like, God, son of a mother.
So did Lightburn recognize yours as a JC?
Yeah, everything worked out fine. Yeah. I clicked in, it said JCZ and all that, and then I hit in JPT. And then what I do is I start mine on like I don't have the CO2 connected to this one. That's connected to this guy right here.
Right.
So that CO2 back there is connected to this computer. So that's just, I keep it for that, But all my Galvos are right here. And what I did is I left the CO2 on here as the computer, or the laser that it loads into. So if I want to do something on the UV for a minute, what I'll do is I'll turn the power off this one. And I basically start in CO2 and I can go to UV. And as long as you don't go from UV to JPT, because that's when it gets confused.
Right.
Change it out. So even if you don't have a CO2 in there, load one up, create one as like your like bounce point. You know what I'm talking about? Otherwise, it'll try to tell you that it can't do that, or it'll kind of go into like a spinning wheel of death kind of thing.
Yeah. So whenever I first hooked everything up, but when I first hooked everything up on mine, it wouldn't find the laser, but I had the 2 old fiber lasers in there, and so being I didn't have one, I went ahead and deleted those 2 old ones out, and then it found it. And
I bet you that's why. Did it start in a Galvo?
Yeah.
Yeah, like your default was set to Galvo, and that's probably what happened. Is It'll say searching or something like that, and then it say cannot connect or something.
Yeah, and I realized when I looked at it, it said ready. You know, it was for a regular fiber machine. I'm going, oh,
Right.
that ain't ready.
I don't know what you're ready for, but let's not do it.
Let's not do that. But
Yeah, I learned that one. Kyle was telling me that when I first started. I was like, ooh, all right, glad you said something. Because I saw it says ready. Here we go.
yeah.
God dang. Now, what are you working on?
Reverse image on it?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah. Here, let's try this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, look at that. Is that like a Celtic?
Yeah. I got a lot of guys around here.
Celtic compass, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, it's
Something
like
that.
I don't know what exactly it is, but I got a lot of guys that like them. So
Heck yeah. If it sells, go for it.
yeah. I've already had a couple of guys ask me about doing. They want to take some glass that goes in the front of their motorcycle, the speedo.
Oh yeah.
And they want to do something on that.
Something cool. I'll tell you, I got Oktoberfest coming up here in September in our town. We have an Oktoberfest. It's the second annual one, and I already got a spot there. And I'm gonna say customizable ones, so I'll do custom ones later. But what I'm gonna do is buy like JDS has those big beer steins, and then they've got the little glass, like it almost looks like a can. Have you seen those? The 16-ounce cans?
Yeah.
But they're glass, and they're like $1 a piece or like $1.50. So you walk up there, you sell them for 15 a piece with some, fun stuff on there or whatever, some funny sayings. I mean, people are that I don't know. I'd walk up when I've had a few beers, I'm like, that's funny, and you want 15, 20? So if you can 10 times your money, walking up there having some pre-made stuff, that's my plan.
So have you tried to do any metals with your UV yet?
Nope. I literally have not even messed with it because I've got the fiber set. Now, I know for like gold and I think copper it does really good on, what somebody was telling me.
Yeah, that's I saw some stuff where it's done on copper, but everything I've seen is white and not any kind of dark.
Yeah.
And I tried on some, it's actually an old power supply.
Look at us both trying to reach across and get stuff here.
And that bottom is the darkest I was able to get on this old. So.
Oh, that's pretty good though. That's pretty slick. See, what I did is I got this little keychain. Like the lady who I buy my plastic from, I said, "Hey, do you have like a sample ring?" And she said, "Well, I don't have any, but if I get one, I'll put your name on it. The next time you order, I'll tell you about it. I'll put it in a box for you." And I said, all right. And so, like a month went by and I called her for some more of the, you can see it back here, the smoky acrylic. I cut a crap ton of it for a motorcycle shop. And I mean, look at this. So this is there you go. So like, I went through like every color and I did see that? That's pretty good. So on white, you can get a nice dark gray. It's like, it looks black almost in person. I look like a crazy person here with like a weird ass keychain. But like, what's crazy is the same settings will get you different colors. So this one got me like a really nice white on blue, and that's done in like seconds.
Wow.
And yeah, like seconds. I mean, like just, and it's super smooth. It almost feels like it's printed on there. And so on the blues, it acts different. On the reds, it does like a gold almost. Like, I don't know if you can see like the yellow gold.
Yeah.
So it looks really cool. And you can get white on it too. See? Like this is like a semi-transparent one.
Okay.
So, you can see it when it hits that light just
right.
Right.
You can get it just right.
But when you're looking at it right here in front of your face, it's white as whatever. White as a ghost. And so, I don't know. If you ever get a chance to buy one of these little rings, or if you got your dealer that you buy from, it's a really cheap way to see, hey, what can I do? And then, of course, on black, it did like a perfect white in seconds. Like, zoop. So I need to, like, my plan is to see if I can get some jobs working for the local high schools around here this year, maybe for like class 2024 or whatever, and make some keychains real cheap for them. So that'll be a good thing.
Well, I think I sent you a picture of this domino.
Oh yeah, you did. That was cool, man. Here, pull it up closer to the camera there. It's not wanting to show it. There it is. A little bit of shadow. Put a shadow over top of it. Yeah, there it is. Look how slick that is, man. Is that like a bone one or what is that one? Just plastic?
It's actually plastic, or that imitation bone or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's made out
Like
of.
almost like a resin, maybe. Like it's got like a
Yeah.
little resin feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. See,
but-
and you can make some good money there with people.
Well, you can buy, supposedly, if it's the right kind of plastic, if it's the actual heavy plastic and not the cheap,
Like Delrin.
Yeah. Then, you got guys that are in, like on my circle, hog bays or whatever. You do a set of dominoes with hog heads instead of dots,
Yeah.
or
Easy
something
peasy,
like
man.
that.
And that's the kind of thing that when you're out there at the hunting camp, you play, or at least we do at ours. I got a piece of Delrin sitting here that I did on the UV. Yeah, there you go. But of course, the settings don't matter anymore. See, like how nice that is.
Yeah.
Nice and white on a black Delrin. And it's got, his had some kind of a texture to it too, but it didn't matter. Just zapped it right on. I found a gold and I found a white, and I'm so mad because they don't matter anymore. Because then as soon as I found all these cool settings for stuff, 1.4 came out, and then I realized, oh shit, I'm getting half the power out of my machine. So, oh well. Is it 10 o'clock?
It's almost, I'm going to try a piece of leatherette and see how it works.
Oh, you know what? I got leatherette sitting here. You know what I've done it on is cork too. Look at this. Look at that, pretty.
Wow.
No cleanup. And just like a minute. You know what I'm saying? Where's the leatherette one I got? I cleaned up my space over here. And so now, like I said, I don't know where nothing's at. And it's frustrating. But I had like the leatherette one of these. And it looked really clean, man. It was good. And
you can buy those hat patches from, I think it was JDS for like $1 a piece or 75 cents a piece.
Like all the random crap. I cleaned up my desk and I still have all this shit sitting on it. You're like, what about a brass coin? Oh, this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I told Mike yesterday that I did the same thing. I got in there and cleaned everything up, and now my desk is a whole mess again. So.
Oh yeah, dude. I spent probably like an hour and a half cleaning this thing this week. And like random gloves from when I was working on the glass over here. By the way, get you some of these. I know you probably already know, but get you some of these gloves. The nitrile gloves from Sam's Club or something.
I get them from Harbor Freight.
There you go. Yeah. Whatever's cheapest, right? And then I use those on the glass. I put on 2 of them. So that way I don't ever get fingerprints on them.
Right.
Never. You can just take them right from the chuck and put it right into the box. It doesn't even mess it up.
So now, when you got your fiber laser, did you get more than one lens?
Yeah, I paid for an extra lens. I got 2 plus 1, so I paid an extra. I think it was like $40 back then. So it's like 2 years ago. Wow. I got mine. Because he said that it's Pascal, so he's a good business guy. And he said, well, since you already know what you want and you're good to go, I don't mind throwing in and it was also like holiday season. So I think he was just in a generous mood. But he threw in for basically, I think it was $40. Maybe it was 50. I don't know, something like that. But I got a 1, a 2, and a 300 basically. And so I've got the 100 on it right now because I was just doing some coins last night. And then, like, these are really cool. I like these. I made this for a bourbon group. Little Z-Mark black on there for a little bourbon group. And it's super smooth. And it's just for their founding members. And then I did this one where it says daddy's turn diaper change time, mommy's turn diaper change time. I just did a little thing. And all it is that's all it is. And but you know what? I sold it for $25 and I sold 4 of them in the past couple of days.
Oh
And
man, that's
it's
cool.
oh, look at that go. And what's nice is there's almost no cleanup when you get your settings just right.
Right.
No, there's nothing. You just pick it up and it's done.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get an exhaust set up. I mean, when I was working with glass, I'm not too worried about it, but with anything else.
Well, just be careful because when you're doing glass right, it turns into fiberglass, man.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it'll. So don't stick your face right next to it.
No, I got a fan blowing away from it.
Yeah. So you're good. It means like you got a window open or something. But that's where the other thing too is when you play with that glass and you do it right, the particulate, man. One time I touched my eye or touched my face like this, and it just be real careful with that shit. That's all I'll say. I had to like go rinse my eye out and all kinds of stuff. Ooh, look at that.
That's pretty.
Yeah, wipe on it real quick. Wipe across it. Did you get any mess up?
Oh, nothing.
See, look at that. Isn't that sweet?
And it's in great. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It almost looks like it's embossed or engraved, like right, like bam, like it's almost like a stamp almost.
It's a lot cleaner than my CO2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sure. So that's if you can get that down, and on real leather too. By the way, that's what's the sweet thing. On real leather, it'll do just that. It makes it look like I wish I had that chunk of leather sitting here.
Well, I've got a bunch of veg tan I'll be working with.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, you watch, go get veg tan, and then put a little bit, water on there to flatten it out nice so it sits. And then, or if you actually, I just stretched mine out the night before. I'm going to work on it, but it looks beautiful. Good stuff.
Yeah, this is so. I mean, like when I go to those shows, I'll have, I don't know, probably 50, 60 different hats of different colors and stuff. And the guys want me to do their kennels or anything like that. That's an instant $18-20.
Yep.
For a $7. So a $7 hat, $1 patch, $8.
Yeah. And that's where you can charge them $30. Screw it. It's instant and done.
Yeah. How long it took. I mean, that was literally just
done.
I don't even think it was 2 minutes.
See, and that's the thing. Materials times 3, and what's fun. That's what I always just say. So if it was $7-8, so 8.24, it's about $30, 25 to 30. You're definitely in the market because for people who have to wait, like think about a hat order. People who got to wait 14 days will pay $25 for a hat, no problem. So if it's on the spot made for you, boom.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm telling you, I'd walk away with it happy as a clam, man. You're like. So,
and then these guys are. I mean, they're really. I know I talk about them a lot, but they're an incredible group. They've got huge hearts. They love their dogs.
Yeah,
and they like drinking, so
it's okay. You're talking to Florida and Louisiana down here, so you're all right.
Yeah. So it's, you have a lot of fun down there, but when somebody's down and out, or they, I don't know how many, fun drives and stuff like that they've done for, people that get hurt or whatever. And they raise a lot of money.
That's what I was going to say. And that's where, when you got a community like that and they know you're a guy who can help them out with that kind of stuff, it's nice to do. So, and the nice thing too is, yeah, sorry, go ahead, bud.
No. While I was telling Mike here a few days ago, what sucks, I went out to my first show with my laser, the CO2 and the fiber.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got hurt.
Yep.
So I've been out of it for 6 months. The very next bay, 3 other guys showed up with CO2 lasers.
Oh, get out of here.
K40s and stuff like that because they seen what I was able to do.
Well, now you can come in with your UV if you're going to take that sucker with you, and you can roll in and do all kinds of stuff they won't even be able to touch.
Man, I know it. and it's a little bit lighter than the fiber lasers too.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, it's just the power source. It's sitting up there in the top, done. Because really, like the box on it's just like a.
That's all it is. I think it's the power. I think the box is just the power supply.
That's it. That's it. So, because I remember I went to go lift it up out of the box. Like I got the CO2 Galvo, I got the 60 watt from Pascal, and that thing weighs a shit ton. Yeah. Like I was trying to get that by myself up there, and I was able to, but I was cussing the whole time. I was like, I said to my wife, I said, close the door to the garage, and she's like, why? I was like, just close the goddamn door. And then I was like, oh, there, because she's like all of 5 foot nothing, so I had to lift it up over her to put it onto the arm to where the what do you call it? Oh my God, I can't even think of the word. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's where I put it on there, and then I was like trying to hold it with one hand and get the
screw it in the other.
Yeah, it was like I was cussing so much. I was like, God damn, I'm fucking free. And she was just like, Matthew. I'm like, grr. But I finally got one in, and I got the other one in, and I was like, okay, go away. Just like that thing.
I had that issue last night with this thing. You know, I'm still weak. I'm good. But you know, I have not built any strength back up.
Well, and the other thing too is you're not holding it up on you. You're like putting it up on. It's like it's putting some torque on you.
You're torquing out, and that, I was beginning to, man, I know if I can't get this damn screw started pretty quick, I'm gonna have to do something.
But, mine, I lucked out. Mine set on there almost about flush. When I set it there, I was like, it's like real. Yeah. Clear. So I was like, all right, let me do that, man.
Now, I will say this. I know that Laser Everything don't talk a lot about OSHA, but my machine came with printed on the side of the machine all the settings for the lens and everything for the 2 lenses that came with the machine, including the, you know, for the scale and everything. And on the other side, it's got the power ratings and all of that. So I thought that would, I mean, that darn OM Tech that I got, it was pretty much, here you go, good luck.
Yeah. Excuse me. I that's one thing I liked about Pascal is I never have to wonder, you know, like everything's already there. I know what my focal distances are from the line on the side of the head. And that's where anybody who's ever asked about him, I always say, like, I think he does a great job, or the team that he's got, because I don't know if it's just him, but his team that he's got does a good job of putting it where basically out of the box, I knew what to do, and I'm not real bright. So there you go, you know. So, like, if anybody's looking for it, that's what I always tell them. And then, did you have a card on the side? Is that what you're talking about, the little card?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's nice is I took a picture of those and put them in my favorites. Like I put I put engraving machines as a folder in my phone, and then I just kept it all right there. And I had it happen before where I had to create everything from scratch, but it was all, I just pulled up the picture, put it all in there, you know, like the horizontal and all that crap. And it was done. No problem. Like when I'm creating a core file or something like that, no big deal.
Yeah. Because I've lost the core file on the fiber machine and stuff. And then you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do now? And there ain't none of them thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like it's nice enough where it's not the end of the world if you lose it or whatever, if it goes bad, but it's just like a half an hour of your life that you gotta play with, you know?
Right. Yeah, and get everything lined back out and stuff.
Yeah, and then you always wonder, is it just right?
Yeah.
So it's all gravy, man.
Man, I know it's 10 o'clock your time, or I think it is over there. No?
Yeah, it's 10:10.
10?
It's not too late for me, but I told my wife, I said, I'll come back in. We'll watch a movie or something for a little bit. And she was like, all right. So, because I cooked that dinner, I was sitting in there whipping up Mongolian beef and broccoli.
Oh, yeah. We had barbecue.
Yeah, well, I was getting fancy tonight.
So, Matt, where at in Florida? Because that Mongolian beef, I'm coming.
We got Plant City, baby. Let's go to the Strawberry Festival. Find it and you'll find me.
He took me over to right there on the pier. And we went to a restaurant over there and had some Cajun, had some crab cakes and all that stuff. Oh man.
I got a
That's what
friend of
I'm
mine that does jambalaya, and he's got his mom's from, oh, I don't know. It's a French town. I know that doesn't help you, but like she's from a little tiny town with a French name over there, and what is it, etouffee or something like that?
Yeah.
Dude. So I remember because I was a kid, you know, I was always like, her house always smelled really good because I love spice. I love hot and heat and stuff. And she had like the crawfish. She had etouffee. I'm probably saying it wrong, but whatever. She
pretty close to it.
It was damn good though, I'll tell you that much. And so whenever she made that stuff, and then the cornbread, her cornbread was like, oof,
Oh yeah.
so good. And like whenever you go over there,
Well, Matt, when
yeah.
Will and I went to the restaurant, it was a restaurant that we owned that building at one time,
Oh yeah.
and they moved it and made it into a restaurant. But it was the first place we had our shop where we owned the building.
Oh wow, that's cool, man.
So it's kind of, you know, it's for
Yeah.
my wife and I, it's got that nostalgia.
Yeah. That's slick, man.
And
We
it
gotta-
even had some of the old window panes in it were the old style glass where they poured it on a plate and
Like a
cut
lead. Yeah.
and so what, you know, the way they laid glass or a long time ago for pane glass, they would lay it on this big long table. They poured on this long table, and then they would cut it into the sheets,
Right.
and so you could see the waves and stuff like that.
That's
in the
cool.
glass.
That's cool. See, and that's that kind of stuff right there, what you're talking about. Like whenever you got these glasses, like especially these freaking boogers, they put them in there, and that's exactly what happens. I mean, those little tiny, and you can't really see it except the laser can. So I'm telling you, man.
I have a source who's asking me to team up with them for hand blown wine glasses. So they actually do, you know, they do it for real.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things that came into my mind. You know, in a production, everything's at least fairly close. It's not perfect, but it is close.
Right.
But in a hand blown application, it may not be square or, you know,
Yeah.
round, whatever.
Yeah. And that's where, like, that's the kind of stuff. If you're doing like a small engraving, it might be okay. But if you're doing anything where it's got curvature, those curvatures are going to be where it's like not within the realm of okay. So,
Yeah.
and that's, then now you paid for hand blown, and now you're just chucking hand blown.
Yeah,
So hand blown to hand thrown. There you go.
We're talking about some of them $100 a piece. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up.
No, I don't want to put that under my laser. I had a lady who had some kind of fancy pan, and I know I can do copper, no problem. Like I've done copper all over the place, engraved and cut, you know, no problem. But she had like a fancy pan that was like a $450, some France fancy stuff. And she wanted, it was at Christmas time, and she wanted me to put like something from mom or something, or like she wanted it to be a family piece. And I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
Because she wanted it on a big curve too. And I was just like, it's super reflective and it's curved sharp.
I've turned a few jobs away because I don't want to.
I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guy had a Henry gold edition, and he wanted me to do that. And you know, I've had an old Henry I had was an old 22. I think the thing cost $50 when I got it.
Right.
But I looked up that Henry gold edition. It's $1,000. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
That's where I tell people, if you want something like that engraved, I told her, I said, to me, the best thing, and I said, I wish I knew somebody who had it, but I said, like either a diamond drag or something that's going to actually apply friction as it goes, and they can put it in place every time. Because I said, or they've got a 3D laser.
Yeah. Mark's got diamond drags.
Yeah.
In his shop and everything.
So
and that's the one thing I do miss about a fiber laser. To me, you know, a diamond drag has that unique look. I don't know how to explain
it. Or a script.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it makes it. I guess it has that. What do they call it when it's gemstone on a gemstone?
Like hand
the-
cut.
Yeah, but you get that reflection off of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
fasten.
Yeah,
facets. Facets. There you go.
and
Mike
so
coming up clutch.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, now that first part that I did in silver,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah, those are
was tarnished real bad when I got it. Now I did that one, and it actually did a clean engrave, where I mean you didn't see any kind of tarnish inside of it or anything like that. And then I polished it. The next one I polished first and put it under there, and I have not been able to duplicate that look again. So I think, you know, on silver, if you tarnish it,
Yeah,
it might actually, you know, do some different. It may act different.
that's
But
weird
guys,
stuff, man.
I've got my mom and dad in the house. They come in from Wichita Falls, so
Yep.
they came in to pick up those glasses to take to the wedding next week. But Matt, I appreciate you jumping in here, man, and just kind of bullshitting with us. And
Yeah, man. That's what I'm here. I was excited to see you with the new machine, dude. Looks good.
it's like I said, it's a learning curve, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I really
Yeah,
am.
but then when you start getting those settings down and you start thinking about what you can make with it and how fast it can happen, and you're just like, it's just money.
Yeah,
That's all it is. So,
yeah.
all right, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you. I'll see y'all later.
Yes, sir. Nice meeting you, Matt.
Yeah, nice meeting you too, Mike.
Talk to you later.
All right. Mike, you have a good night, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. Looks like you got them safety glasses on.
Hey, take them off now.
Yeah. But yeah, have a good evening and call me tomorrow if you want.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
God bless.
See you later.